We got the best shot going. Hey, thank you so much for being here, you guys. You're awesome. Saritha, Attorney General. Running for Attorney General. Hey, Bob. This is Don Peavy with Celebrate America, and we're getting ready for the beginning of the 250th celebration of America right here today in Hartford, New York. We're starting South Utica, New Hartford, on Genesee Street. Saritha as well, the New York Attorney General candidate, is here. So we would like to say hi to her. Come on up and say hi. Hey, my name is Don Peavy with Celebrate America.
Wonderful.
We're live in Oneida County.
How's everyone?
And a lot of folks out there are just excited to see the large gathering of folks here and actually see you here when you could be anywhere in the state. Why did you choose Utica?
Well, I love being here. It's so exciting to join Oneida County for this parade. Happy July 4th, everyone. I'm so proud to be an American today, every day, and it's really a day to celebrate that. And you know, I'm just trying to make sure I meet everyone in New York State. And that's kind of impossible, but we're going to try anyway. We are going to 7 different counties this weekend, celebrating with everyone that we can on this common ground. We all love our country. We all want to make it stronger and better, and that's what we're here for. So I really appreciate just being a part of this and being able to be an American. You know, it's the greatest country in the world.
You know, it's really great. It's impossible to be anywhere on social media without seeing you out there.
Thank you.
I am just impressed, as are many of the folks in the communities that want to learn about the different changes that you're trying to bring about in New York State.
Yep.
And we've been so suppressed in so many different areas in the past 10 years here, and you seem to be making some pretty positive claims with respect to what you think you can do to make changes here.
Well, this is the thing. I think, the Attorney General's office actually has the power to do a lot of good if you use the authorities and the resources of that office to help New Yorkers deal with problems like crime. The AG can actually prosecute crime. You can deal with problems like mental illness because there's civil commitment laws in New York. You can deal with problems like homelessness because we can actually investigate the homeless shelters who keep taking more and more money every year but producing fewer and fewer results. If you use those powers appropriately and fairly in a non-political way, we're going to actually improve the lives of New Yorkers. And that's why I think of this race as just a race about helping every New Yorker. It's not about Republican or Democrat. It's about making our state stronger.
You know, and you mentioned in a non-political way, and it's so tough for Americans out there today, New Yorkers out there today, to interface with this political structure that is sometimes very difficult to negotiate for just average voters out there.
Yeah.
It's either you're all the way left, you're all the way right, and if you're in the middle, you succumb to pressures that make it difficult for the average person to vote regardless of their party. Who is the best candidate? How do they choose?
Yeah, listen, I get it. It's stressful. Politics can be kind of stressful, and that's why I think it's really important to have at least one law enforcement official at the state level who's not about that, who you don't have to worry about politics, who's just looking out for you. I think there's a time and a place for politics. We can debate laws in Congress, we can debate policy in the media, even in town halls, but when it comes to safety and public safety, keeping every New Yorker safe, you shouldn't play politics with public safety. That's not the place for it.
That is so true. And if you look at that same principle rolled out to local laws and responsibilities of state government to apply law fairly across the board versus on a political stratum that isolates certain people for every law that gets passed and furthers left or right causes, it's difficult for the people to understand how people in positions like you're running for can be apolitical in that environment.
Well, I was a federal prosecutor for 12 years. I worked for more than 10 U.S. attorneys, presidents of both parties, and I was taught that you're supposed to look at the facts, look at the law, and do the right thing, regardless of politics. That's how I'll approach the AG's office. It'll be a huge change, and we're going to make New York a lot better.
Thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us here. I hope that clears up some of those concerns out there for people that think they're voting for a left or a right-based political person when your job is just to apply the law.
Yeah, and protect people, right? Look out for people's safety. That's the job. Everyone's safety, period.
Thank you so much. Getting some insight on the process here for running in New York, which is so politically charged in so many different ways that it's hard to comprehend for many Americans just how to vote in this election. Although we've got many folks that are telling us out there that even though some of the issues are so politically charged that many people are considering jumping their boundaries with respect to a political party and voting for the person or for those folks out there that can answer the concerns that Americans have today. And there are so many, we can't go into them now, but a vote in America is a terrible thing to waste. So think about those folks like Saritha that are running for office and how those individuals can best serve you regardless of their political contexts in New York State and in America. So they're gonna get ready to start here any minute. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get set up on the Celebrate America truck here that's pulling a number, walking with a number of folks, including Kailee, who is going to be running then for Congress, and we'd like to get a couple of minutes with her as well. And so let's get over there and see if we can chat with her for a few minutes. So I'm Don Peavy, Vice Chair of Celebrate America.
Thank you so much.
So listen, it is great to
Do you want me to?
Yeah, it's great to have you out here today with this. There's so much going on in New York State today. It's amazing to have you here. But listen, I wanted to spend a couple of minutes with you and just get a little bit of your background.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm unfamiliar with some of the things you've done in the past.
Yeah.
So can you kind of go into that a little bit?
Of course, yeah. So I'm Kailee Buller. I was born and raised in Auburn to a prison guard father who retired after 41 years last year. My mom is a nurse. I'm the first in my family to get a 4-year degree. So grew up pretty blue collar and then went away to Syracuse University for a year. Couldn't afford it, couldn't get more loans, so transferred to state school. And the economy wasn't great in 2011 when I graduated, so I moved to DC and made an incredible career for myself.
In DC?
In DC, yeah. I spent about over 13 years there. I worked for President Trump twice in both administrations at the Department of Agriculture. I was the number 4 in Trump 1 administration. I was the number 2 in the last administration, where I oversaw 100,000 people, $200 billion department. I was the Secretary of Agriculture, who's cabinet secretary. I was her number 2 lead advisor.
So wait a minute, and you're bringing all that experience to New York?
I've been in all these rooms and I've watched all these negotiations over all of my career, and Central New York is getting left behind. And I was looking at the map and the seat was running unopposed. My family's still here. I come back all the time and I love it here and I had the best childhood. I have 3 kids who are 3, 5, and 2. I want to raise my kids here, but Central New York has to be a better place. My kids
Yeah.
need to have the opportunity to stay here if they want to, and everyone my age and younger, they're leaving for jobs in other areas.
Oh my gosh, isn't that true? We've seen
Yeah.
it over the last 10 years,
And-
a steady decrease.
Yeah.
And it is incredible. So, you know what? There was something in the news yesterday, actually this last 3 days, where someone by the name of Alex
Yeah,
Zula.
I work with her very regularly, and John Rich, and
That is amazing.
I have John Rich in my phone. I call him too. I'm working on the windmills and the solar issues with him.
Incredible. She spent the last 2 days in Washington with the
With my
US
old boss,
Yes.
Brooke Rollins. She sat around that table. I used to run meetings in that room.
Oh,
That's the
man.
Williamsburg room right when you walk into the department.
That is an amazing thing. What are your thoughts just in about, less than 30 minutes?
Hey, I'll come sit down with you for an hour. You tell me when and where, and I'm there.
It is so great that you have that kind of experience that you can bring to the people of New York. It is an amazing opportunity, I think, for us to face the energy issues that we have
Yep.
with your help and actually find a way through that's going to be beneficial to everyone on both sides of the aisle. I think you can help with that. What do you
Yeah,
think?
it's my number one issue, and it's the number one thing I'm hearing about from consumers. I mean, we have decided to mandate certain energy sources, mostly foreign ones here in New York, and we have not kept all of the options at the table. So we have to bring all of the above energy to the table. The wind and solar mandates, I'm not opposed to wind and solar if it's an optional option. But we have mandated these things, and then we have banned drilling, we have banned natural gas. We're buying our natural gas from Pennsylvania, who has a budget surplus. They have a Democrat governor, a Democrat House, and they have a budget surplus, and they are fracking and they are drilling natural gas. And yet we've decided, no, we're gonna mandate Chinese solar panels and Copenhagen windmills, and we're gonna wonder why our energy prices are through the roof. In fact, I was just at Dog Corners, which is a solar farm yesterday.
Okay.
I'm looking at it in the beautiful Aurora, overlooking Cuba Lake. And when that started in 2019, we were paying 22 kilowatt per hour, and now we're paying 95. Since
Insane.
2019. In 6 years,
It's triple.
the first person that was the contract, they've already sold it off, and it's been sold 4 to 5 times, and it's already gone to $95 an hour. You want to know why our energy bills are this high? So when I go to Congress, right now I'm working with the administration to find a way to try to stop any new mandates from happening. When I go there, I'm going to sponsor legislation to preempt New York. I'm going to make sure we have all of the above energy. I'm all for nuclear. I'm all for wind and solar if it's an optionality. If I want to put solar panels on my house, I should be able to.
Absolutely.
If a farmer wants to put a windmill on his farm to offset energy, he should be able to. We should not be mandating. Our grid is already too unstable. I mean, we've already started having people losing some of their electricity because our grid is so unstable. You know what'll help it? Reduce our price and make it more.
Exactly. Now, I've been to the Public Service Commission's meetings in Albany for the last 3 months or 4 months. I record those. I send them out to the public.
Thank you for doing that.
And listen, I am the only person there from the public that doesn't have a vested interest. And it is concerning that the state doesn't push that out there for the public to see. It's almost like they want to hide those dealings behind closed doors, even though they do broadcast them. It's a very dry, it's a very quiet display of what they're doing.
Well, the people don't want these mandates. They're being made without the people.
Exactly.
It's rules for thee, not for me when it comes to Albany's mentality, and they don't care what we want. They're just going to say, oh, you don't know what we know. We're going to mandate these things. We're going to raise your costs. I mean, it's really just, it's communism in its initial forms.
And there's so much more than just energy out there. What other hot topic items are if you could just list 4 or 5 real quickly, there are massive issues out there.
Housing, I mean, our homeless population in the Syracuse area, there are so many vacant houses that need to be ready for this homeless population. So we are not doing well by our low-income communities, by the housing situation. So that's federal, state, that's local, and I'm already working with HUD right now to try to understand where the breakdown is, because there are empty places that we need to get people into these homes.
Exactly.
People deserve to have affordable housing. They deserve to have a roof over their head. And I think the other thing is I started my career in fiscal financial policy. In New York State in 2011, when I started tax policy, it was the least competitive, highest tax state. And we said back then, people are going to vote with their feet in New York State. Guess what? How many years later? It's 2026, over 500,000 people, nearly $25 billion have left the state since 2020. People are voting with their feet. We lost 2 congressional seats. We're slated to lose 2 more, and that is because New York has one of the most uncompetitive, highest tax environments, and people are done, and they're moving.
In fact, just today I was reading this morning, New Jersey, New York, and California are the highest tax states in the country, and New York is in the lead.
It's number 1.
Those 3.
Highest tax.
Just amazing. Kailee, tell me, what area totally do you represent?
I have all of Onondaga. I have part of Oneida up until, I don't have Rome, but I have New Hartford, I have Utica, I have all of Madison, I have half of Cayuga, and then I have a part of Portland.
Wow, so that's massive.
It is.
Incredible. And so do you think that in the future that things are going to settle down with respect to the partisanship process in New York State with folks not being able to vote with their heart and being pushed one way or the other by the far left or the far right to go in those directions versus coming together?
I mean, it's my sincere hope. Listen, this is one of 38 districts in the whole U.S. that actually is still moderate in nature, and you can have that level of bipartisanship. I'm a Republican. I'm a financial, fiscal conservative, but I have a heart, too. The people that we're dealing with, we have to have compassion. We have to think through every individual person. And and that's really important. And so I'm coming at this. I'm not always going to vote. I've worked for President Trump twice. I'm hoping for his endorsement. But that being said, I don't agree with my husband on everything. I don't agree with my dad on everything. And I'm certainly not going to agree with...
Does your husband know that?
I mean, usually I win. But, but with the president, like when I'm elected as this district, I'm going to be thoughtful with the people. And I will talk to our elected officials and our president when we don't agree to fight for Central New York. If you're not at the table, you're on the menu. Yes. And Central New York is on the menu because they don't have a representative advocating for them. I will never sign any new taxes into law. I will support term limits, and I will make this place more affordable so my kids can live here if they choose to. I didn't have that option. A lot of people my age don't, and I'm willing to change it. And I have nothing to lose. All I want to do is come back and give back to the community and fix it based on the knowledge I've acquired and the system that I understand, and I want to advocate and be honest with the people. These are challenging issues, and we can't fix them all overnight, but I'm not going to lie. I don't need a big job after this. I've had a big job, right?
That's exactly
a lot of people run in these seats to get a big job. I've done all those things. I want to give back and help this community be better, and that's why I'm here, and I'm ready to fight like hell.
You know, you remind me of someone else who's out there running, not for the money, but for the cause. Constantino.
Yeah, absolutely. He's great. I mean, we're gonna be in it together.
Thanks so much for spending a couple of minutes with us. I think the parade's going to get started. They're
well,
waiting for you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be
Thanks
here.
for the information and sharing your future.
Interview me anytime.
Okay. It's Katie Bueller here, and Kailee, I'm sorry, for being with us here for a little bit. That parade is going to get started here pretty quick. I think they're moving the trucks up, so let's get going. Yes. Oh my gosh, nice. You look great. Oh my gosh, awesome. If they had a single costume for the entire parade, you would be the best. Have you folks seen any British around? Yeah. No British? No British. That's what I wanted to hear. No British, right? Okay.